we've published this tool for about the past 7 years, and now what we do is we upload one spreadsheet per school, and we do this now in FIFO. So this is the way to get to FIFO. Go to your Wake ID portal and choose your OASIS icon. And then what you'll see is you'll see the Files In, Files Out tile. That's what FIFO stands for. If you can click on that, then what you'll hopefully see is this screen titled FIFO. You'll see the menu options on the left. And then as you explore, retrieving your file, you'll see this middle part populate. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to take over with a demo so that you can actually see how this tool works. Okay, so what we have in front of us now is an example of this year's AP Credentialing. And as I mentioned, we upload these to FIFO, so your school's spreadsheets have been uploaded to FIFO now. You'll find them in the 22-23 school year. That's because we see this as a tool of being able to counsel students about the courses that they could take starting next fall. So when you bring up your schools, and we also have a district-wide one, which you're seeing here, but when you bring up your school's AP Credentialing spreadsheet, the first tab you're going to see is subgroups. There are 2 other tabs that we'll also review, which hold the data and answer some questions that are commonly asked. So I want to explain just basically how this is laid out. It looks like a bunch of numbers, but by the time we go through this, you'll see how this is meaningful if you haven't seen this before. So up here in the upper left-hand corner, we see some filters. When you pull down your school filter, you should see only your school. Of course, I have all the schools. Then you'll see grade level, race, and gender. Now over here on the left, what we have are the headings for the number of AP subject exams that students have been vetted for success in. Okay, and now what that means is success is defined as getting at least a 3 or higher on a particular AP subjects exam. And what we do is we look to 3 different data sources for those kind of predictions. We look at the PSAT, we look at the pre-ACT, and we look at EVOS. So that's what we were able to do this year. And if any one of those 3 data sources gives a student a designation of possibly having success, at least 40–50% chance of success at getting at least a 3, then that student is counted, that subject is counted for that student as being a course that they might have success in. So some students have success just from those data sources in 1 AP subject, some in 10, and others even higher than that. I mean, some kids have all 24 that are predicted for by these 3 data sources. There are more exams than that, but these 3 data sources only predict for 24 of those exams. Across the top, what we see is a count of the number of courses of this kind, AP or IB, community college, or university courses that a student has taken up to this point in time. So up through the first semester of 21-22. This percentage right here is placed right on top of this 0 courses taken column. So what this percentage represents is the number of students, or the percentage of students who have qualified for success in at least 1 AP subject exam, but have not taken any of that kind of course. Okay, so in this case, in the district-wide, we have 32% who show some potential, but have not yet taken a course like that, and that equates to almost 6,000 students. So let's start investigating this. One of the things that's included in this 6,000 students are ninth graders. So if we go up here to our pull down, we can uncheck ninth grade and you'll see this percentage change. Now it's 18.4. So because we know ninth graders don't typically take a lot of AP, even though we have plenty of ninth graders who do, this is probably a more realistic picture of the district. And that dropped the number to about 2,700 overall. So remember, if we wanted to look and see at our school, let's say the kids who have qualified as having success in at least, well, in 10 of the 24 exams that these data sources predict for, we could look on this row and we would say, okay, how many of our students haven't taken any of those kinds of courses? And district-wide, I see 133, 10th, 11th, and 12th graders who have not done so. Now, this column represents the kids who have taken one course and then 2, 3, etc. So a few kids have taken quite a few courses. You'll see a few, who are 20 and above. But it's not enough just to know the number. Really what we want to know is, who are these students? What we can do here is we can say, okay, let's say we wanted to know every single student in our school who has potential but hasn't taken a course. That would be this number in this cell. We can just double click on it. And what happens is it will pull up all of the students in that cell. That's true for any of those cells that you just saw. Now, in this particular, you'll see a new tab has popped up here, and we can delete this tab or rename it and save it if we wanted to do that. If you delete it, it's perfectly fine. It won't hurt anything. As you can see here, I've randomized the IDs. I've taken out the names just to protect for privacy's sake. And what we can see is that we have a whole list of students who have one or more subjects that they've qualified for success in, okay? And so if I want to pick out, I don't know, let's say students who have qualified for success in 8, you'll see all those students pop up here. There are 85 of those students in the district. And then I can say, well, how many courses have they taken? Well, 0, because that's what we chose. Okay, I'm going to delete this. No harm done. Okay, now I'm going to take you over to the data that's behind this. We just got a preview of it. So this is the data sheet that drives that pivot table and those filters. And we can see right here that this is sorted by high school, but it's also de-identified. So if we wanted to take a look at the headings here, we can see that we have how many courses a student has qualified for success in. Here, this student is 14 of the 24. And then we'll see the next column over, how many courses has that student taken? 0. How many courses are they taking this year? 0. So their total is 0. The other headings here will show which of the AP subject areas they got a yes in. Basically, could you have success in this particular course? So with this student, we can see it was 14, and we would be able to count which of these subject areas total up to 14. So 1 here, 1 here, 1 here, 1 here, until we get to 14. Now, other students, who aren't ninth graders, might have more. So you'll see, for example, here's a ninth grader who qualified in 12th grader who qualified in 22, has taken 5 courses in previous years, is taking 6 this year, for a total of 11. And then here are those students' counts for which of the data sources that said yes to them. So sometimes they get 2 of the data sources that say yes, sometimes it's 1, sometimes it's 3. So that goes all the way over in alpha order to world history. Now, let's say there are other things you can use this data section for. If you wanted to, for example, create another class section of, psychology. You could roll over to the psychology column, and then you could just pull down the filter. You can say, okay, well, I want kids who got yeses from 1, 2, or 3, or maybe you just say 2 or 3 of those 3 data sources. You click OK, it subsets it for you. You come back over, and then you know which kids to recruit for another new section of AP Psych. Also, let's say that you wanted another section, let's say of computer science, but you didn't have enough students that were getting yeses in computer science. What could you do? Well, you might borrow students from chemistry, or you might borrow students who'd gotten yeses in calculus. Something that you think that might have some transferability over to, the rigor of computer science. The other thing that you are also able to do is you can recruit not just for AP courses, but also IB courses. So this can be used for any of the rigorous coursework, community college, university, IB, or AP. Our last tab here is a frequently asked questions tab. And this tab has 10 questions in it. It reviews some of the things that I've mentioned today and adds some detail for some other questions that you might have about just how this tool works and what it's comprised of.